If you live on the North Shore, odds are that you are in an electorate that saw some very strong campaigning efforts in the election last year. It's likely you were exposed to a hell of a lot of information about climate change specifically. Some people telling you to worry about it, others telling you not to, some telling you it doesn't exist at all. In an effort to make sense of this increasingly volatile information ecosystem, the government launched an inquiry last year into climate disinformation, and we just got back its final report. A big takeaway, it says Australians are under attack from coordinated disinformation campaigns actively working to mislead and sow distrust. So where does all of that disinformation come from? Now, believe it or not, all 300 pages of this report aren't looking at Facebook posts from that uncle who isn't invited to family barbecues anymore. The report is looking upstream at where this information is coming from, and more importantly, who this information is coming from. It singles out 3 players in our homegrown industry of Australian climate obstruction. You have the corporations, like Woodside and Origin, gas and coal companies who have consistently lobbied against climate policies. Closely tied to these corporations are the trade associations, Australian Energy Producers, Minerals Council of Australia, Coal Australia, who the report claims have been working to obstruct climate policy since the 90s. Finally, you have the think tanks, with trustworthy sounding names like Centre for Independent Studies and Institute of Public Affairs. You might be surprised to hear the report found that these think tanks actively dispute climate science and support fossil fuel interests. But these large-scale organisations all seem very far away from the average North Shore local, so how are they trying to reach you? This is where astroturf comes in. Wait, what? Astroturfing is when groups present as genuine grassroots organisations representing average Aussies, when they are in fact payrolled and supported by vested corporate interest. It's not all paid actors, of course. These groups attract Australians fed up with the government, possibly for very fair, valid reasons, and push them climate misinformation without properly disclosing where the money is coming from. As examples of this, the report points to many groups active during the 2025 federal election. Mums for Nuclear, Australians for Natural Gas, Australians for Prosperity, whose spending during the election period exceeded what would be expected of genuine small-scale community groups. In the inquiry, many of these groups denied the claim that they were astroturf campaigns. Some of these groups are tied directly to industry players. For example, Coal Australia's contribution of over $3.68 million to Australians for Prosperity, who you may have seen advertising in your local electorate. In other cases, the trail goes dark. Many academics who took part in the inquiry bemoaned Australia's transparency laws, which made difficult their efforts to fully map these networks of influence. What's important to note is that this report isn't just Labor bashing a bunch of groups that typically support their political opponents. This report was backed by Liberals, Labor, the Greens, and independent senators. So what now? The Senate inquiry resulted in 21 recommendations, including better digital literacy programs in schools and the establishment of a watchdog to monitor digital influence ecosystems and corporate greenwashing.